Play it on Xbox One.
Hello and welcome to the Forza Horizon 4 live stream, coming to you from the beautiful autumnal Leamington Spa. I'm Mike Brown, and joining me on the sofa today is none other than Mr. Torben Ellert.
Thanks, Mike.
Torben, what are you most excited to talk about today?
Advanced painting options. Can't wait to get into that.
And Retro Crystal. Retro, what are you most looking forward to talking today?
Looking forward to the Horizon Stories, which Racing Cup, that will be going on about later on in the stream.
Cool, great. Let's jump right in. Should we take a look at what's coming up in the show today? So first up, we're going to talk about the new features that are coming along in the Series 3 update, which will be going live, I think, tomorrow. So first of all, we're going to look at the new painting options. We're going to then talk around a lot of the changes and fixes and the quality of life improvements that we've made. We're then going to be bringing on a very special guest who's going to have another walkthrough on Route Creator. We're going to be looking at some of the routes that we've really loved from the community over the last few weeks. We're going to give a lot of feedback on those and hopefully some pointers and tips for how to make great race routes. We are then going to jump into Fortune Island, which we announced the other day at XO 18. We'll give you some fresh details about that before finally talking about the Series 4 update, where we'll give some tease out a few details that'll be coming up over the next month or so. Before we jump into that, Torben, do you want to give us an intro of what new painting options people can expect to see?
Absolutely. So it's, I think it's a really good update.
Nice, nice.
I know. I said I wouldn't do that.
I told him not to say this.
Anyways, yes. So it's two things. One of them is new painting options. But before that, let's look at wheel options, because we've added in a whole bunch of new wheel options, specifically new rim styles.
Yeah. So if I jump in here, the ones that are equipped on the car right now are one of the new ones.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they are kind of mixed in with them all. Those ones are new. These are new guys.
That one's new.
That's cool. There's... Oh, wrong one. So how many have we got in total now?
Over 40.
Over 40 been added in this new update coming tomorrow.
From 20 different brands. So too many to name check.
Cool. All right, and is there anything else about wheels that people should be excited about?
You can paint them now. So let's go and take a look at that.
Shall we?
Not only you can paint the wheels, you can also go in and paint specific sections of wheels.
Okay, so how does that work?
So as you can see from the screen here, there's a little plus sign on the wheel icon. That means that this icon, this part of the car has advanced painting options. You can see it flagged up there with the prompt. If you hit that, we will get a view of the subsections of this wheel that we can now paint individually.
Okay, let's jump in.
Yeah, so choose colors and also materials, which is not something that people have been able to do before. So bang some carbon fiber on that.
Oh, sweet. I actually literally just learned that right now. I didn't even notice. Cool, great.
And so I think the thing that this really does that has been something that we've wanted to do for a while is it allows you to control the materials that appear on areas of the car. Because previously, if you wanted to do something like that, you needed to be very creative with your liveries. And that's great, but the actual texture difference that you get by being able to apply materials is just great. So,
so what are these groups? How do these groups work?
So each group corresponds to an area of the wheel. And you saw there was, just bang some color onto that and bring the option up again. And if you bring up in a barrel, that's an interesting one because like a lot of our painting options, it depends on the wheel rim that you put on, whether or not you can see the inner barrel of the wheel.
So I can make it green even though I can't. Oh no, you can see it. There it is.
It's in there, right?
I mean, I know that's something that people have been crying out for. They're like, that little bit inside the wheel there. It's always just silver metal, but now
it could be
make it
anything
any
you
color.
like.
Look at that, great.
Oh, it is great. I mean, I'm really happy to be getting this out because the kinds of creative things that people will do is just going to be great.
So once we'd introduced this new bit of technology, which allowed us to color in these different materials, why don't you tell us what else we were able to do with that?
Well, I mean, it follows that once you can color subsections of a wheel, it might also be possible to color subsections of a car. So why don't you zip over and grab us a Bugatti?
Yeah, so I know this has been a thing that people have had workarounds for this, but it's been extremely time-consuming and labor-intensive in order to solve these kind of problems. So I think the Bugatti is probably the chief example of this.
Let's stick a lovely little wooden detail onto this.
Well, let's just have a... I guess we talk about the reason this car has always been a problem is because, as you can see, as the manufacturer produces it, it has that sort of navy blue there, baby blue on the front half of the car, and as well that little silver detail. Yeah. And typically in our game, when you're trying to paint that, you'd go paint, and then you'd go, well, I want it to be orange, and it would paint all of those sections the same colour.
Exactly.
Which is fine, but if you wanted to then go and maybe just repeat what the main manufacturer colour but with different tones, it's a lot of work. You'd have to go and build in and colour in all of those individual sections.
Exactly.
So if we head back.
And so,
I wanna do that.
because of the plus symbol there, we hit that, and now we have paint groups. So,
So I can now colour that part, I can make that part carbon whilst leaving the back part the same navy.
okay, yeah.
Sweet. Let me pick a colour.
So I'm guessing now people can just personalise it a little bit more, make it a bit more unique, special.
And
Be
it's-
interesting to see, won't it, the different liveries that people can come up with now with these
because
colours.
these layer in under liveries, right?
Yep.
So and as Mike said, it's a way to achieve things that you could possibly kind of approach with a previous system, but simply because we can add actual materials to sections of the car, the detailed feel that you get out of it is completely different to what you could have done before. So if you bang it over all the way to the right to that lovely wood inlay, because who doesn't want to put inlaid wood onto their hyper?
So I have to admit that I'd often felt that these paint options over here were really of limited usefulness in the previous way, because if you wanted to have a bit of wood effect like that, which I think is kind of classy, it'd probably look a little bit better on a Jag actually, but it looks kind of classy that maybe someone's going to put a little bit of a wood inlay on there. When you paint the whole car in wood, it doesn't look as cool, shall we say?
Yes.
And I could go in and paint the wheels as well, right?
Yeah, you can.
Maybe I could have wooden wheels.
I'm about to say this was definitely something that, you know, a lot of the community was asking for, so hopefully, you know, we can see what people can come up with now with these variations of colours and material.
It's really going to be great.
Take a look at one more car. So how many cars has this been applied to?
So, interesting little inside detail. This works because it plugs into the material groups that we use to build the cars. And this means that it varies quite a bit from car to car. So in some cases, you'll see cars that have a really interesting spread of materials, which will allow you to do some really eye-catching things like Harlequin-style color splits on cars. So I think it's really a question of people going in and experimenting with the cars and seeing what they can do with them, which is really, I think, why we wanted to get this feature out there, because the kinds of things that people will be able to do with it are just going to blow us away.
So I think this is an interesting example because you can see how the body of this car is made up of several different materials. You've got the sort of copper colour, the white plastic on the sides there, and then that like honeycomb there as well. And each of those is like a separate group in this, so you can colour those in individually.
Yes.
I think just to remind people, I suppose, we could just so you see those different sort of materials the car's made up of. Now, in the old style, that was kind of the results.
Painted orange or nothing.
Which was fine. But if you wanted to go back in and have that sort of honeycomb effect there, it would be you'd have to go and basically paint that in yourself in the editor. But that or colour should we go with yellow and blue.
So I was going to say, when does this go live for everyone?
It goes live with the rest of the next update, the so-called service check.
Oh, nice.
That will be going live tomorrow, or rather going out tomorrow, and then going live with the season change at the end of this week.
Yes, patch goes out tomorrow, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so you mentioned the service check.
Yes.
That's the first time we've mentioned that. We should probably go into greater detail about what that means.
Yes, absolutely. So I think on the previous stream we talked about how we wanted both to add new content to the game, new features like the creator, new Horizon stories, new ways of playing seasonal championships, but also we wanted to just demonstrate our commitment to working on things that that needed love in the game. And I quite like this metaphor of the service check, right? You take your car in, you get it looked at, because I'm a sucker for cheap analogies like that. But what we've done is we've looked at, so first of all, we look at everything that people say about the game. And there are many things out there that we are paying attention to and we are listening to.
Yeah, you have to have very thick skin, I think, sometimes to look at everything people have to say.
Yes, but it comes with the territory. But it's also a question of working on the things that make most sense to work on, things that can demonstrate an immediate short-term improvement to the game. So some of the things that we're putting out with the next update are things like a skippable post-race. So you can just bang through that.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it, the post-race, because we spend so long in development, like really tuning it and making sure it's a really great experience where the characters look good, the cars look good, everything animates in really nicely.
People just want to
Yeah, it's great when you watch it 1, 2, 3, 10 times, but in our game you actually see it 1,000 times, and it does wear thin.
Yes. Other things like bulk adding cars that you get via DLC, so you don't need to go through the step every single time to add your cars, so you can just add them all at once, which is again a real nice quality of life thing. And then more back-end facing, we've made a number of different changes that basically all work together to ensure that people are in better populated sessions. There are more people in their sessions with them as much as we possibly can, which just means there are more people to play the game with often. Yeah,
great. I think this isn't coming in this update, but something that we are now able to talk about because it is being worked on and will be coming fairly soon is, we talked a lot about painting options now. We will be adding the option to customize the color of your brake calipers, which I know is something that people have been asking for a lot.
Yes.
It's one of those things. It is more complicated than you would think to tweak the color, unfortunately. But we will get that out as soon as possible.
And I mean, we'll just keep everyone posted on how that's going because, I mean, it's something that people really want.
We'll give you regular updates on the status of color brake calipers.
Don't at me.
So Boom in the chat says, "That's a nice golden joystick you guys have there. Well noticed, Boom. Yes, it is. It is a lovely golden joystick we've got here on the desk there. Yes,
I didn't notice it.
Oh, this thing. Yes, we were thrilled to pick that up at the Golden Joysticks on Friday night. Yeah, very exciting. That's our best Xbox game 2018. Thanks everyone who voted in that because that was a public vote. So thanks very much.
Yes.
Democracy does work, despite what some people might tell you.
Anyways, back on script.
Retro, what is it that you're most looking forward to in this update?
I'm looking forward to the Horizon racing stories. Should we go into that now, or should we leave that for later on?
Let's talk about now, the Racing Cup.
Talk about it now, right? So we have been interested in people wanting to personalise the races a little bit more and get more involved with it, especially with the online aspect. So we're doing it so that now you can create races that are more specialised in terms of the class of cars. You have to be careful in how you tune your car because it's specialised. You have to make sure that you tune it enough to be involved with the race, but you don't want to, you've got to be very careful how you do it. You want to get the best out of your car, but then if you tune it too much, you're then against all the top cars, you're in the top races, so it's all involved with that. So I'm very looking forward to what the community can come up with their tunes.
Yeah, so this is a response to, I think, a lot of community feedback we've had around the structure of our seasonal championships that we've had so far in the game. So these ones are going to have a little bit more of a puzzle element, I believe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's best described the way you put it. We call it the Horizon Racing Cup. So these are seasonal championships that are described in the language of a racing cup. They've got big cash prizes to win by coming first. And it's not just a bucket of cars like track toys. It's actually a PI band as well, because we could see that people wanted that additional element of strategy that you talked about, which is kind of how am I going to take my car and fit it into this PI range in a way that both will be really drivable and fun, but won't be really, really bad on slick roads or off-road. And that's coming up in the next update.
So what sort of prizes would you expect to get out the end of these races?
I mean, we looked at it and we decided for this one we were just going to double down on this idea of prize money pots. Okay. So the way it's going to work is that you could potentially win more than 1 million credits over the course of the seasonal championship, but you've got to finish first. So it's about winning, not just participating. You've got to tune your car, you've got to know the track, practice probably a bunch, go find good tunes, do good upgrades, potentially downgrade a car from a higher PR class so it will fit into the restriction, and then go out and do really well and walk away with a big prize pot. And of course, because you can do them solo, co-op and PvP, there's almost 4 million on offer for doing that.
4 million?
Yes, I know you're on the economy, and it was, yes.
He didn't tell me this.
Oh, you got to win all
Is that
of
okay
them.
if we could win 2.5 million, Mike? I was like, oh, maybe.
Right, 2.5 million per event, yes.
Okay. Great way to find that out. Okay. Okay, we are going to now take a look at Fortune Island. This is the new expansion that we announced at EXO 18 just the other day. So I'm going to hand over to Ben Thickerfell, who's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Hi everyone, I'm Ben Thickerfell, Chief Designer at Playground Games. We want to thank you all for your incredible support since the launch of Forza Horizon 4. Your feedback helps shape the future of our game. In addition to the improvements and new features we've been adding, we have been hard at work on our first expansion, which I am excited to announce today. Later this year, the Horizon Festival is heading to Fortune Island, where you'll hunt for hidden treasure and explore the most extreme terrain ever seen in a Horizon game. This is the largest expansion we've ever made, and it's full of epic driving experiences, ravines, perilous cliff-top roads, and the longest section of paved mountain switchbacks we've ever built, which are perfect for drifting. It's not just the extreme terrain that will challenge you on Fortune Island. For the first time ever in a Horizon game, you'll get to experience thunderous lightning storms and even the Aurora Borealis while you race and explore the festival's newest and most dangerous location. Fortune Island is the largest, most thrilling and most extreme location we've ever built, and we can't wait for you to play it. The expansion is coming December 13th and is included in Forza Horizon 4 Ultimate Edition.
Thanks, Ben. Yes, that was Fortune Island. That is going to be available to Ultimate Edition players, plus anyone with the expansion pass, on December 13th. We will be talking quite a bit more about that in just a short while. But before we do, I would like to introduce you to someone new making their first appearance on the Playground Games live stream. Playground Games lead level designer, Mr. Craig Littler.
Hello.
Craig, what is it that's most surprised you about the way the community have responded to the route creator since we added it last month?
Honestly, the most surprising thing is the incredible desire people have to make 40-mile-long race routes and continually drive them. Yeah. That's the most surprising thing for me.
Yeah, like 40 miles, 10 laps.
40 miles.
How about it?
Just constant hairpins. They love all that stuff.
You've been doing it wrong all this time.
Yeah, well, you know, Reddit tells me so.
Before we jump into the route creator, where Craig is going to give us a deep dive on some of the routes that you guys have been creating, I just want to give a shout out to some competitions we're running right now on our social feeds. You can win some copies of Forza Horizon 4. So if you're watching this and maybe you've not taken the plunge yet and bought Forza Horizon 4, you can jump on our socials and grab that. Also some exclusive cosmetic items. It's a bit like doing a Horizon wheel spin in real life. Retro, where can they get those?
So you can find it on our Twitter, which is @WeArePlayground, or you can find it on our Instagram, which is @WeArePlaygroundGames.
We are Playground Games, not We Are Playground.
No, We Are Playground Games on our Instagram. A little bit different than our Twitter. But also, if you check in chat as well, I've noticed some codes being posted. You can copy and paste them into your Xbox, and they should win you some in-game items.
Yeah, Helios is in there dropping some codes right now.
Dropping
He's going to do it right now.
I see him. He is
dropping.
Good old copy and paste.
Fingers are smoking. And just one more thing, while I've got you here as a captive audience. As I said, we won this in a public vote earlier. The Game Awards is coming up at the start of December, so if you love Forza Horizon, then by all means jump on there and you can vote for us for best racing game and best audio. Right, Craig, you're here for a reason.
Am I?
You are. You
okay,
are. So, for those who don't know, Craig is our lead level designer, which means he is just about the best in the industry at creating routes for racing games. Which means he is the perfect person to help us analyse the routes that you guys have been creating. So we are going to jump in now. We've picked out some choice routes.
We have.
And we are going to jump straight in. So
okay.
Something that we talked about a lot when we've done these previous streams is how the route creator is great because it allows people to create the kind of routes that that we can't really put on disk. The kind of routes where, look, for us, we have a number of rules around our routes, like every car needs to be able to get around more or less. There's a couple of exceptions with P50 and things, but
sure.
Generally every car has to be able to do it. It has to be quite a fun experience. There are lengths that we'll allow ourselves to go to, for example, not 10 laps of a 40-mile route.
Yeah. But fortunately for you guys, there are no limits. You can just do whatever you want, for good or ill. In some cases, ill. Thanks for that.
So let's jump straight in. Right, this was one we found, wasn't it? It was pretty cool. So this is created by Cyan Elephant 395.
Absolutely. Cyan Elephant 395.
So if you're in the chat, Cyan Elephant 395, or you're watching this, or if you know him, let him know he's got a name checked. He's about to get famous.
Shout out.
So while that's loading, I want to talk you guys through a competition we are going to be running. So over the coming months, we are going to be adding new seasonal championships. So we talked about the Horizon Racing Cup. Going forward, we're going to be doing some championships made entirely out of community routes. And in order to give you guys a better chance of being selected to be in that, we're going to give you some themes that you can work your routes around. And then if you tweet at us or you email them in or whatever, we'll play those routes and we're going to pick out the best ones and put them in the game for everyone to play. So as we're going through, I'm going to read out some themes, take a note of them, get your pen and paper, write them down, and then go make some great routes and send them to us. So theme number 1, we need routes that are set in summer. We want S2 class asphalt hypercars. So all asphalt, S2 class hypercars in summer. Make those routes, send them in, you can get picked, and then your route can be featured in the game. Right. The hill climb, as created by Cyan Elephant 395.
Yes, he's now famous. So as we go through these routes, I'll just give some high-level feedback and some tips on how to get the best out of route creator and what you can do. So one of the key things is theme for your route, your track, your race, whatever it's going to be. So actually this route does a really good job of picking what it is that it wants to show in terms of landmarks, in terms of points of interest. Got great vistas and views, and it...
He's missed a checkpoint.
Yeah, he has missed a checkpoint. Actually, on the point of that, you'll see that AI car disappeared. That's something that we fixed from Horizon 3 because many people complained over many forum posts that AI could cheat the checkpoint. So that is something that we really took time to fix on Horizon 4. So yeah, as I was saying, so theme, this in terms of coming down straight from the mountains, having really great views, and then lots of moments for the player to experience as they go through. So water splashes, smashable walls, all that kind of thing. The flow of this route is pretty good. The corners tie together quite nicely. That's another really key component if you're going to make a good route, is to make sure that the corner sequences flow together so they feel nice and natural. Cyan Elephant 395.
I think that was it, yeah.
There we go. You and me can be best friends, Cyan Elephant.
Get your CV in.
Has done a good job of making sure that all the corners in this route really tie together quite nicely. And the most important point really on any route is fun. So it doesn't matter what you're going to do. If you're going to do 40 miles, 80 miles, please don't. As long as the route's fun, that's the most important thing. So this route is actually really solid. The only constructive criticism I would give is some of the checkpoints are too narrow. So, well, Mike demonstrated perfectly. He missed the checkpoint, which is not ideal. So you want to make the checkpoints forgiving enough that the average player won't miss them, but strict enough that people can't do absolutely crazy things. There's one. I mean, I'm inclined to blame the driver on that one.
No, by the time I see the checkpoint, I'm already not aiming at it.
But, so Mike can see that checkpoint, and then you get a little hint of the one below. You want to ideally make sure that you can see the next checkpoint and the one after that, so that you can make an informed decision about what you do with the car as you hit the checkpoint. So again, points of interest, now going through the swamps and the rivers. He's thought this through, so it's a good route.
There's a nice bit up here that I quite like. You can go through this, and then if you overshoot this, oh, not that much though. There's like a little route down there through the river where...
Yeah, but there's no checkpoint there, Mike.
No, but you go this way, and then I can see he's having to like...
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah, and then it's actually saves you having to totally blow that. But don't worry, I promise that there is a good route through there if you're a better driver than that.
As designed is the term for that.
So here as well, the way he's placed these, you can totally just cut these corners.
Yeah.
Which, depending on whether you want the player to be able to do that or not, is good or bad, I suppose.
Well, yeah, it's all about...
What's a good way of like making people not be able to cut a corner?
So it kind of depends what you want from the route. If you want to create alternate paths so that players can hit a checkpoint and then decide which way they're going to take an obstacle, then fine, do that kind of thing with the checkpoints. But if you want to keep people on a very specific path, what you want to do is put a checkpoint at the start and the end of every corner, so that they have to hit it on the entrance and on the exit. And critically, if you put that checkpoint far enough forward, it means that in online, somebody can't just totally T-bone you if you only put a checkpoint at the end. You'll find that if you do make a race route that has that with one checkpoint on the exit, everyone will just T-bone you into oblivion on the barriers. So do try and avoid that, unless that's the kind of thing that you're into. That's the whole fun of Route Creator is if you like T-bones, go crazy.
Okay, so we're just coming up to the end of this one. There are 3 laps of this one, but as it's a 3.5 minute lap, I will call it quits there.
What a surprise, a really long route that somebody's created. That is
I think it's too bad.
A total shock.
So what sort of length do we aim for, Craig?
Typically, we try to have an event between 2:30, 2 minutes 30 and 3 minutes. That's with the exception of the Goliath races that we always have really long epic races that we thought you guys would just really enjoy them and that would be it, but no, it's just Goliaths online as well all the time. But yeah, between 2:30 and 3 minutes, so the kind of the natural length of a race in our games. So if you do make a route that's like that, you're more likely to get featured on the editors list.
Yeah, exactly. I've been told that there are some rules around the routes that we're willing to accept. So we want a maximum of 5 miles and no more than 3 laps. So when you're creating your route and you're setting up your race restrictions and what have you, please set no more than 3 laps because we've got to actually play them all and it'll just take us ages.
Behind the scenes there.
Behind the scenes, I don't want to stay late just to play a 10 lap 40-mile route to decide whether it's good or not.
I was going to say, most of these will, all the rules will be posted again on the, we'll be doing a forum post within the next day or so, which have all these, so if you do forget what the, the regulations of what we're asking, feel free to check that out.
Are you posting that on forums today?
I will be, either today or tomorrow.
Right, okay, great. Right, next up is Henry J. Speed 77 with Musical RallyCross.
It seems like a real name.
Henry J. Speed?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure that sounds best to forget. Do you reckon he was born in 77?
Yes.
Probably.
Probably. I mean, why else would you put that?
What car will we go with for this?
Peel?
No.
That's the other surprising thing, is the love for the peel. You guys really like the peel.
What's wrong with the peel?
I'll go Vantage.
Peel's great.
The peel has its place. It's just not in every race.
Oh yeah, I did. I've done a few peel races. There was one where it was literally everyone made all the checkpoints narrow, so only the peel could go through. It was all down train tracks and everything, and I fell off a lot. I didn't do well in that race.
Yeah, we won't put that in the. We won't be putting that in the season event.
Don't watch me play that one live.
You didn't really sell it.
No. I'm yet to actually see. I really want to see a good peel race.
So the next theme, if you guys are taking notes, like I say, you will be able to check these out on forzamotorsport.net afterwards. But we were looking for an autumn race, which would be B-class, mixed surface only, and modern rally. So B-class modern rally on mixed surface in autumn. Take notes, create routes, send them to us. All right, let's go into this one. So this one's called Musical RallyCross by Henry J. Speed 77.
Yes, musical RallyCross.
I think it's called that because it spends the whole time like in and around the festival. So all the music comes from the festival stage rather than your car radio, which is actually quite a neat little idea.
Excellent deduction.
Yeah, when you talk about having like an idea, a theme for your race,
yeah, absolutely.
That's quite a good one, I think.
Yeah. So this guy's created a route that's kind of an extension of one of the core circuits of the main game. So this is the festival circuit, and he's extended it and really added just a whole other section that works quite nicely with this route. And as I was saying, in terms of theme, it really is quite cohesive, and that's what you want. You want to know exactly what it is you want to achieve, and then make the route reflect that through and through.
So for a long time, that festival circuit was the first race in the game, wasn't it?
It was.
But Craig kept telling me that it was too difficult. And,
yes, and I was correct.
I was correct on that. he eventually won that. I think this route here that I'm playing now would have definitely been too difficult for the first round.
As you said, democracy does rule, unfortunately. So yeah, again, same feedback as before really. Checkpoints, these are a bit too narrow. He's put them to try and accommodate for where the visual of the road is, but really you want to make a checkpoint as wide as you possibly can without making it an exploit, because you don't want someone accidentally not hitting it and getting frustrated. So yeah, the checkpoints are okay, but they are too narrow.
I wish I'd chosen a car for this.
But also, he's done a really good job in terms of checkpoint visibility here. Like, you're always seeing the next checkpoint, and just in this one, he's not doing that. Up to that point, he was doing really well. Yes.
Henry J. Speed, good job.
Henry J. Speed, Henry J. Yeah, so you always want to be able to see the next checkpoint, and if you can, the checkpoint after. Chaos.
So is that a checkpointing issue there? There was a checkpoint sort of halfway around the bend, I think, which was
there was. I think there was
confusing the poor driver tires.
Yes.
Help me get a few places in the race of this. I'll take it.
Yes, Well, you could have done with it. Yeah, this is a good route. So, a fun fact about this actually, the festival circuit and the whole festival area is something that we iterated on massively during development, and it changed a lot all the way through the project. So, the actual festival layout that you're seeing changed quite close to the end. The drag strip in the festival was a very late addition, which I know a lot of you really like, but that was something that came in quite late. This area, the castle grounds, was always supposed to be somewhere you and your friends could go and take a lot of cool photographs. Yeah, and this area took a lot of work to get right, but in the end, it's one of the more popular locations for people to play online.
I think in this game it is a real success, isn't it? The way we've made the festival into place. It's really a fun place just to hang out with other people online.
Sure.
There's loads of just little fun things to do, rather than it just be the place you go to change your car.
Yes.
So again, I think we probably don't need to carry on for another lap and a half of this, unless there's anything else you want to call out, Craig.
Not really. Good corner flow. Could do with improving the checkpoints. In general, solid.
Yeah.
With us just mention checkpoints, I do know there's a question in chat from Tranquil Riot. He's saying about the issues regarding our new checkpoints not being able to rewind because it's not been working. We will be fixing this and it will be available in the next update. So hopefully that'll be fine.
Great.
Great.
I'm glad you knew the answer to that one because I didn't.
I'm sure they will. They'll be fine.
It will be A-okay.
All right, what's next? So all of the routes we're playing today have been added to the PG Editor's Choice. The PG Editor, which is the official stage name of Torben Ellett, who was on the on the sofa earlier. So if you do want to go check out any of these routes, you can do. They're in the Creative Hub under PG Editor's Choice. Which was the next one? Rally Car Build.
Isn't that right, Torben? They are? Yes.
So this one is by Casino Royale, or Cafino Royale.
Cafino Royale.
Rally Car Build. Let's go. So, okay.
So I'm not sure if Cafino Royale got confused with that he was building a car or a route, because it's called Rally Car Build, but it's actually a race. So I don't know what's happened there, Cafino, but this is a pretty good route.
While this is loading, I will reveal the next championship theme that we're looking for. So in winter, we need S1 class, extreme off-road, and cross-country. So take a note of that. Winter, extreme off-road, S1, cross-country.
So this route is really interesting in that it's the most technical one that we've decided to feature, and it's something that we wouldn't really feature in the main game. It's extremely tough, technical, but actually really uses a lot of the principles to good effect here. So again, really narrow checkpoints, but it kind of fits the theme of this route. So it's supposed to be really tough hardcore rally on the beach, but the key thing that Cafino has done here is that he's really making the most out of the environment. So he's using all the paths in between the sand dunes, and he's really making the route feel like it belongs in terms of the actual race. So props for doing that, because it actually makes the race feel much more like an integrated part of the game. It's not just across the field, it's actually down the different paths. And shout out to Sam Pay for finding this route. Thank you.
Great job, Sam.
Great job, Sam. And great job, Cafino.
I'm sure he likes to be called Casino Royale. We're just openly mocking.
That is not his tag.
Yeah, just to reiterate as well, if you do want to check this route out, it has been tagged up as a PG Editor's Choice, so you can find it right now in the Creative Hub in-game.
Yeah, it is. This is really tough. But as I said, this isn't a traditional route that we would include in the game. This is something more akin to, if you remember, the Rally expansion on Horizon 1. This is much more sort of in that area. It's still fun though, and for people who are into this kind of thing, it's kind of expresses one of the greatest things about Route Creator, in that people can create the kind of routes that a very niche audience would enjoy that we wouldn't necessarily include in the main game.
Yeah, I just love this area of the world as well.
Yeah, that's great.
So, interesting fact about this area, Craig, as we mentioned earlier, the reference for this beach is actually a Formby beach, which is very close to where me and Craig grew up. So,
is that an interesting fact?
It's interesting to me.
Playground facts of the day.
It is a fact.
I think the most interesting thing about that is it's a little insight in where we came from.
Yes, from up to north.
Up north.
Come on,
if you were building a profile of me and Craig, you've got a little bit more to put in there now.
Please don't.
So this bit's cool as well, isn't it? Where
Yeah, a big finish with the jump, and then one of the other hot tips is to put your finish lines on straight so that there's always a real rush to the finish, and if you can make them down,
That was good. That was good.
Thank you for not putting any snags on that archway, level designers.
There were snags on that archway for a long, long time. A long time, I can tell you that. Yeah, so as I was saying, really key tip there, make sure that the finish line is on a straight, but also that it's downhill so that you really build up speed so there's a nice climax to every event. Which you've done well, K5O.
That was Casino Royale. All right, there's one last one I want to take a look at, which is a bit more of an out there route than the others, but it has again a kind of interesting theme that we can go take a look at, which is this guy.
This guy.
Yeah, PJ TNE.
Right.
Hello, PJ. Probably there in the chat. What should we go with? Raptor. Yeah, so this one is interesting in that it really
theme. PJ's had an idea and has executed it, and it does what it says on the tin, really. The only problem with this route, I guess, is it's mostly following the train track.
Yeah.
So obviously it's called Become the Flying Scotsman. The problem is train tracks are quite straight, so not many turns on a train track.
Not many turns, and not the best driving experience, but let's check it.
Trains aren't that great at 90-degree bends, classically.
So let's take a look. Oh, what?
Why the checkpoints?
Probably no account for getting in the back of that.
Another hot tip is to pretend that Mike Brown is playing your event.
I've done it again.
You see what I mean? And then when you think it's wide enough, just add another 6 meters, and then you're about there.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks. I'm really glad I invited you on the show.
This will be my last time on the sofa. So. Yeah, so here we are on the train track.
Oh no, I was reading the chat and I've
Yeah, that's hard actually. Chatting and driving. Yeah.
So as I was saying, this is basically a straight line that you can't miss the checkpoints on. But the thing is, they kind of work here in that they are the perimeter of the train track. So if you're trying to be the Flying Scotsman, you want to stay there. And in terms of hitting the theme, it absolutely does work. There is actually a fun fact about the train track in that it goes through a tunnel. So I can't remember if this route allows it, but in one of the cross countries in the main game, we allow people to either go through the tunnel or go over the top of the hill. So that could have been another avenue to take the route.
I regret not putting the train horn.
Oh yeah,
totally
what a missed opportunity that was.
I've ruined it. I'm sorry everyone, I've ruined the whole stream.
Just quit, sign out.
I am actually going to quit out of this race because this is...
Yeah, so you can actually go over the top of that hill. So
probably not a wise tactical choice.
Well, you know, it's pretty cool to land on everyone else.
Could I drive above that checkpoint? If I lined it up, would I have to be able to be at the same
No,
level?
Could you?
Torben's waving thumbs up around that. Infinitely high.
Oh,
so
okay.
yes, you could.
I'm not sure that's a true fact.
We should. We'll find that out for you guys.
Tune into our next stream.
So yeah, make sure you don't miss the next stream because we will definitely.
Next week on Dev Wars.
Dev Wars.
So, Craig, are there any real just overall rules that people should keep in mind when they're trying to make a really good race route?
Yeah. So as I said before, you want to make sure you have a strong theme. What is it that you actually want to achieve with the route? What are landmarks you want to see, you want to hit? You want to make it fun, ideally, if you possibly can. You want to give it good flow so that all the corners connect together nicely. And checkpoints are one of the most important things you can possibly do. So make sure they're always visible, the next one, and if you can, the one after. Another hot tip is when you're placing your checkpoints in the route creator, if you actually turn the car in the direction that you're going to make the corner, that means that the checkpoint flags will actually be in that orientation, which means that a player will get a bit more information in terms of you're going left now, rather than hitting a checkpoint and then knowing to go left. Nice. So if you actually drift as you're making the corner and place a checkpoint, it will be more useful to the player.
That's a good tip. Wow. Okay. I'm being told that some people are asking about the VIP fault stand points bug. I can tell you that will be fixed in the next update. Also, I'm told that Casino Royale goes by the name Fail Race on YouTube.
The train's about to hit you.
So, oh wow, this is going to be fun.
Right, let's watch this. The joys of the race.
Yeah, it's like an AR12 video.
He's like, race on my track, will you?
Shame he didn't come in the race. It would have made it a bit more interesting. Yes, so Casino Royale, who Craig made fun of his name for about 5 minutes.
Whoa,
check out Fail Race on YouTube,
Best
and you can find some more of his great content.
kind of a running name, but there you go.
And also, let everyone know, the competition in order to win a copy of Forza Horizon 4 is still going on our social channels, which are on
Twitter at WeArePlayground and Instagram at WeArePlaygroundGames.
Great. And also check out the chat, check out Twitter, check out everything else, because we're dropping loads of really rare cosmetic items that you're able to get in there. Like I say, it's like wheel spin, but in real life.
IRL wheel spins.
So the next thing that I want to be able to talk to you guys about, which I think is probably the reason that quite a few people have tuned in, is Fortune Island.
Fortune Island.
Fortune Island. So yes, so we announced it last week, XO18. We are very, very excited to bring it out. Me and Craig have been working quite closely together on it throughout. And, well, what are you most excited about in Fortune Island, Craig?
Oh, there is so much to be excited about in Fortune Island. This has been one of the DLC packs that we made that I felt like we could really listen to the community. And as much as I mentioned Reddit earlier, for all those people who are on Reddit or on the forums, we do listen, not that we have a choice, and we try and incorporate as much as we possibly can of what you guys want into what's possible. So Fortune Island for us has quite a few of those key things that the community have asked for that we've really gone out of our way to deliver on. So, for example, there's the asphalt switchbacks that I know a lot of people wanted in the main game. Now's your chance. There they are. We affectionately referred to it as Reddit Pass for a long time internally.
And that is an affectionate name as well.
It is.
We were, yeah, we heard you guys. You as soon as we started to release images of the map, you could see people trawling through it and finding all of our good drift roads, and then complaining that we didn't have enough good drift roads. So I think that if you guys check out Fortune Island, you're going to be pretty pumped, because we go a long way to hopefully addressing those issues.
For sure.
Yeah, so how long is the drift switchbacks? It's like 3.6 kilometers, is that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually a drift zone you can unlock as well that goes almost the whole way up. It's by far our longest ever drift zone.
It is.
Which we're expecting there to be.
And you would not believe the competitions that people are having already internally over that drift zone. There are wars being waged.
Yeah, there's been a lot of impossible scores have been posted, which then led to arguments by people having to demonstrate that their scores were in fact possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so one of the other things, to make use of what are probably the best drift roads we've ever built, we've got a New Horizon story in there as well. So you guys have been playing the main game. If you've got far enough, you'll have unlocked Drift Club. And if, like us, you'll probably fell a little bit in love with Robert Glenn, you'll be glad to know that he is coming back for Drift Club 2.0 on Fortune Island, which is a great way, I think, to really explore those roads in cars that are like perfectly tuned and perfectly well built for it.
Not only that, we also have a road that is built for those people who like a little bit more danger. So I'm sure people have seen the screenshots, but there's a road that's just literally a sheer cliff on one side and a sheer cliff on the other. So you have this tiny little stretch of dirt to really get around as easily as you possibly can. And in multiplayer, believe me, that is a challenge. So everyone is trying to knock everyone else off. Everyone is trying to push about for the best position, but that is certainly one of the more out there things that we've been able to do for DLC that we wouldn't really have done in the main game, because you know if you fall off a cliff, it's not much fun. But it turns out pushing your mates off a cliff, pretty fun. So
there's a balance to strike there.
there is, and that's something that we've got in Fortune Island that we really spent a lot of time on and put a lot of work in. So
yeah, that road around there, it is a dirt road that stretches all the way around this mountain with a sheer cliff drop on one side. That is, I think, the only place where Drift Club 2.0 will take you onto dirt at all. It's on asphalt entirely, except for that bit, because just having the sheer cliff face on one side just added that little bit of spice to that extra Drift Club challenge, where it's like you really want to throw your car sideways, but also you might die. So it's
comes with a job.
It's you know, it is a very, very dangerous job, isn't it, being a drifter?
It is, yes. if it's a job at all.
So Fortune Island is the largest expansion we've ever made. It's an absolutely massive space to explore. It is available to Ultimate Edition owners, to people with a car pass. You can purchase it separately. Available to all of those people on 13th of December this year. Retro, what's your favourite area of the island?
Ooh, I mean, first of all, the weather, I mean, we'll go into area in a second. The weather itself is the thunderstorms, stunning. And I'll be curious to see if people can catch it in photo mode. Like, trying to be able to get it and get it in a lovely photo would be great. But in terms of favourite area, there's this one section with a giant mountain. And this road, it's called the Glen Wisp, and it circles around the mountain. And it's just amazing to drive through.
Yes, it's like a spiral road.
Yeah.
It is really, really fun to drive. I know when Craig first put that in, a lot of people are like, why is that there? And Craig's like, because it's awesome.
That happens a lot. Why is it like that? But the other fun thing about that road is, of course, that you can drift all the way from the top to the bottom. So there's another drift zone on there for you. It's all about the drifters. If you like drift stuff, this pack's for you. But there's also a bunch more. There's loads of crazy cross countries, and we also have, I think, more asphalt than we ever had in a PDLC before, I think.
Is that true?
That's true to say, yeah.
That is interesting.
So, yeah, asphalt all the way. In terms of my favourite
Not all the way. It's not 100% asphalt.
It's not, well,
it's
a far cry from that. A lot of the way. A good proportion of the way.
Much of the way.
The correct amount towards that way.
So, Craig, same question to you. What is your favourite area?
My favourite area is probably the beach area. So, the beaches in Fortune Island have loads of Viking shipwrecks, and there's caves that make for great cross-country. There's a lighthouse there as well, so the visuals are stunning, but particularly for cross-country, there's also, in the ocean, we have islands that you can skip across and come back to the mainland, so it's, when I say mainland, I mean PLC mainland, not the real mainland. So that area for me really is one of the standout parts of Fortune Island.
Yeah, for me, I think it would be the cliffside road we mentioned earlier, where it is just utterly fraught with danger. Every race route that goes along there, the drifting goes along there, just driving along there because you're looking for bonus boards or whatever, it's pretty scary because it's about 8 feet wide the whole way along.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge.
I mean, it was a challenge as well because I think it came under a bit of threat, didn't it? I think there was
it did.
There was a group of people who just thought it was too much fun. And,
as is always the way. Well, I mean, to give a little bit of insight into the dev process, when you're building rocks, that's actually a really expensive thing to do. And so the prospect of building a really narrow road with rocks either side scares a few people. So it wasn't a threat, but, you know, it's in the game. It's really wonderful. People really enjoy it. So I can't wait to see what players will do with that, actually. I can't wait to see people driving massive trucks on a tiny little road in multiplayer, and the friendships that fall apart as a result of that.
So, question from Zion Sparks in chat. Will seasons affect Fortune Island?
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure.
There we go.
Well, they will. Yeah, so the seasons will behave in the same way as they do on the mainland. We still have, winter, summer, spring, and autumn. I remember them all.
Well,
thanks.
What about fall? Fall?
Yes, fall. There is fall. There is all the seasons. And they look stunning on the island because the actual makeup of the island looks quite different to the mainland. It's a lot rockier. We took a lot of inspiration from kind of more north of England. So it all looks quite rocky and a bit angry and quite fierce. So the landmass throughout the different seasons, particularly winter, does look stunning, yeah.
Great. So other things that we can touch on about it, because we've got to be careful about how much we reveal. We've got to keep our powder dry.
We're going to do that thing? We're going to say the thing?
Go on, say the thing.
Well, no, you say the thing.
Okay, so Craig, do you want to talk to us about... It's my show. Do you want to talk to us about... so obviously, and we know people are a big fan of our Goliath routes. We had the main Goliath on the main game, plus sort of mini Goliaths that were attached to each of our racing campaigns. We've seen the community have enjoyed making new Goliath-type races where they have very, very long race routes. So responding to that clear desire from players, Craig, what can people expect in...
yeah, so this time round... we know that there are players who enjoy asphalt and there are players that enjoy mixed surface events. So what we decided to do this time is do 2 Goliaths. So there will be a asphalt and a mixed surface Goliath independently of one another. That ties into the campaign.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
So for anyone who is in either of those 2 particular threads that they enjoy, there's something for everybody.
Alrighty, I can see. Oh, it's gone past now. I can see someone in the chat there was asking about the the treasure hunt feature, which was revealed by Ben earlier on in the VT and XO18. Treasure hunt is a new feature that we're adding to the game. We don't want to reveal fully how that will work just yet, but I know there's been a lot of questions about the sort of things you can win. So there are exclusive cars, there are huge cash prizes, a bunch of other stuff. It's a really kind of cool feature, I think. I'm really excited to show you some more of it. We'll probably touch on that a little more in our next stream, along with other new features and content that you can expect in Fortune Island. As I say, that is available on the 13th of December. If you've already purchased the Ultimate Edition, then you already own it, so you don't need to do anything. If you've got the expansion pass, you don't need to do anything, you already own it. If you don't own either of those things yet, then by all means, purchase Fortune Island.
Look at these guys who don't have to do anything, who already have it all.
Be like them. Okay. So I think the next thing we're going to talk about, we want to have a little bit of a preview on what we're going to be doing in Series 4. So Update 3 is going live tomorrow. Update 4 will be live in about 4 weeks' time. I think one of the biggest changes in this is going to be some of the tweaks we're making to Horizon Live multiplayer. So at the moment, if you guys have tried to start multiplayer races, it can be really tricky to get into them, not least because they appear in the activity panel for about 30 to 40 seconds and then disappear. So we're making a bunch of changes around that so we can make a bunch of changes around that which will help you. Sorry, Tom was just putting a message to me. We're making a bunch of changes around that which will much improve that experience. You'll be able to stick them in there. You can leave those events in there for as long as you want. So if you want to do something really specific, if you've created a new route that you want to check out, that you want to get 12 people in, you can put that in there and you can just leave it there for as long as you want until you get a full session, and then away you go. So I think that'll make a huge improvement to that. Other stuff coming in that update is big improvements to photo mode. We've been reaching out to the community, speaking to a lot of people. I know Helios have been in communication with a bunch of you guys and asking people what they're looking for from photo mode, and we're really pleased that we've been able to action on a lot of those changes. So tune in next time and we will talk about the great stuff coming in photo mode. And finally is our Christmas party, which will be a bunch of new Christmas cosmetics, Christmas challenges and themes, all that will run all the way up in the run up to Christmas. Craig, we have a little bit of time left. Let's go and check out one final route.
Sure.
As you was mentioning, a little bit multiplayer as well before. I just want to let people know we are aware of all your feedback and your suggestions that you've been giving us regarding Team Adventure and online and multiplayer. We are looking at this. I know you've probably heard this. I've talked to a few people, especially on the forums. I'd probably say the same thing over and over again. The reason for this, we don't want to rush. We want to get this right for you guys. We want to make sure it's exactly what you're asking. So there is a lot of discussion going on, and we will be hopefully sorting this out. But unfortunately, this is all the information that we can give you for now. But we are listening to all your feedback.
Yeah, something I'd like to add as well is that all of the community feedback, whether that's to Retro on the forums or Reddit or wherever, we do really appreciate it, and all of us really do read it and take it to heart. So any feedback that you do have, good or bad, is appreciated, and we like to hear it. So please do keep doing that.
Okay, so this route is created by none other than Don Juan-Song.
Ah, Don.
Yeah, so
Don.
Jim Conn and One Training Up. So if you
I've heard he is in chat. I think shout out.
If you thought I struggled on the previous event, then get ready to watch me struggle.
I've seen his video of this. I love the way how he does a special thing with the AI, the avatars, and makes them go a specific way. And I don't know if Mike will be able to do it. I don't know if he'll work the same one, if this is the same route. I think it is. But right at the end, Don Juan-Song manages to go straight through the middle of the AI. So, you know, you've got that trick to do, Mike.
I am not Don Juan-Song.
So this is actually...
And this account actually looks like some TCS on.
This is a very creative use of the route creator tool, actually.
Brilliant.
And Don's done a great job here. We'll see how Mike performs, but yeah, I was really impressed when I saw this video. I thought it was fantastic. The AI, as always, are loyal to the line, so if you keep the line far away from the checkpoints, you can pretty much do whatever you want, which is what he's done here.
I've seen a few people in chat just trying to give the feedback. Try and give it us either on our forums, which is forza.motorsport.net, or you can give it to our support site. If you've ever got an issue or bug, you could submit a ticket. But we also, what most people don't know, is we take suggestions on feedback there. Just use the drop-down menu, and at the bottom there should be an option for suggestions.
Whoa.
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 Skip the checkpoint.
Yeah, this is the rail yard. This is one of our gameplay locations that we build for Horizon 4. So this entire area is built from the ground up. It's level designed to be fun to just tune around in, basically. There are races that go through here and stuff, and this is for online. But in general, these entire things are just playgrounds for you to enjoy in a car. Mm-hmm. And we spend a lot of time. Oh dear.
Oh, no.
He's all right. It's fine. Fine.
I don't know where the checkpoint is. I was up the stairs, isn't it?
We spend a lot of time building these so that just driving in it should be fun. Like just hooning around. This has got multiple levels as well.
Yeah. I don't know which way I'm supposed to go. Got lost.
Oh dear.
Oh
dear.
Let it reset me on the roof. So, I told you I am not, especially upstairs. I thought it was.
Yeah, the YouTube video is a little bit
A little bit better.
A little bit better, just a little touch.
Just overlay that.
I'm going to blame it all on the fact that I've got TCS on, which just makes my throws my drifting out of whack. Yeah, I think this sort of stuff as well. I think it's really. I think it does really I think it inspires for the kind of things we might push Route Creator to do in future. Because I think, like you said, this is a really creative use of the feature. Yeah. And I think that there's probably a lot of value in this kind of thing for us as developers future to tweak this into other kinds of gameplay. So this is obviously, it's supposed to be a race route, but really this isn't. It's like a gymkhana stunt arena, isn't it?
For sure.
Very creative way of using the route creator and the location as well. Same with the race we saw earlier on the beach. It's quite nice to see the variation. Yeah,
and the other thing about this route, in the same way as the beach, is that it really plays to the strength of the environment, which is one of the things that will make your route sing. Really, is if you use what's there naturally in the environment to inform the race that you're making, rather than it being just through a forest or across fields. It'll feel much more integrated, and that's what you get from this.
So, any tips for Don John Song? any pro tips when you're making gymkhana arenas?
In terms of gymkhana, he's definitely got more talent than I do. So, not really for this kind of thing. I don't know what the AI do, and they're just...
They look like having a whale.
They're having a great time. This is their favourite route ever.
I can't believe one of them's ahead of me, to be honest.
There's a comment from Scarlet Pimple in chat saying, I'm not sure which is more entertaining, watching Don Juan Sang drive his track perfectly or watching all his fail.
Hey, I got around it. I came second. Huh? That could have gone a lot worse, I feel. I think that was okay.
At least it's you driving. Imagine me. That was so bad.
I get that track and go, it's tough. That is tough. I mean, in the video, it makes it look easy, but that is a challenge.
All right, we're nearly out of time. A few more things we need to talk about. So a lot of people are asking about the update in garage size and UGC capacity. That is actually a fix we have made, and we are testing that internally. Because it affects the way that your save data is stored, we want to be 100% sure that there's no bugs in there, because it might corrupt people's save data, which I'm sure you can appreciate, you wouldn't want us to rush out a fix like that.
No.
And then corrupt your save data. So that one will be coming in the new year more than likely, but it really does need a lot of testing to make sure that we don't ruin the game for everybody. And the update will start going live. The update we've talked about throughout the session, which will include the Horizon Racing Cup, the new painting options we opened with, a bunch of other quality of life fixes, improvements to your connectivity, the ability to get more full sessions more often. That'll be going live tomorrow morning, which is Tuesday, UK time. It'll be a rolling release across the world. So, right, before we go, guys, what are you most looking forward to over the next coming months? Let's take up to Christmas, so you can include Fortune Island if you like. Is there anything that you're really looking forward to releasing to the community?
I'm looking forward to... I can't wait to see what people do with Route Creator on Fortune Island, actually. I think that is going to be something that a lot of people pick up on and use, particularly with the roads that we've built this time around in DLC, in terms of the drifting style of what we've done. So I think all the root creator stuff that those guys do is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Retro, anything from you?
I'm quite interested in the Christmas party. I'm like a sucker for all the little outfits and stuff, whatever happens. So
we kind of seeded some out there, didn't we? You got Santa's running shorts, so there'll be some more. You'll be able to complete Santa's entire gym wear set soon. No, don't worry. But that was a joke. There will be much better stuff than that.
Can we confirm that?
All right, we're just about out of time. If you guys stick around on this channel, Shannon will be here in about 1 hour's time. Is that right? Yep. 1 hour? Yeah, so Shannon will be going live in about 1 hour with her new show, Smack Attack. Is that what it's called? Smack Attack, sorry, I should have rehearsed that. Tom scrolled down to show me it's yes. Yeah, so stick around. Shannon will be live in 1 hour for Smack Attack, which is her new show where she's going to have you guys help her become a much better gamer. So check it out. It should be a lot of fun. Thank you very much for tuning in. As I say, we'll be back in about 4 weeks' time. I've been Mike Brown. This is Craig Littler. This is Retro Crystal. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Play it on Xbox One.